Hey, you know, it's always a good time when even the day after, Saturdays in the fall, Sundays in the fall, when your team wins. But unlike for me, I'm batting 500, and I think D. Norman Watkins can relate to this. Man, when your Cowboys lose, you just hope that other team that you follow makes up for it. So here we are, we're getting close to episode 300, guys, and our guy, everybody in the great state of Texas loves, the best smile in Travis County, former Texas Longhorn linebacker slash defensive end, Norman Watkins joins Stevie Lee and I for the pass rush. And Norman, it's been about a year, but I think that smile on your face represents much more than just making an appearance on this podcast.
Hey, first off, Sean and Steve, man, I appreciate you guys having me on the Stories Inside the Man Cave. I feel privileged, man, and it's been long overdue. Some of my favorite people, Stevie, we go way back. We're family from Louisiana, so much in common. And Sean, gosh, it seems like I've been knowing you half my life, brother. I love you. And man, I am so happy. Obviously, the Horns won, but even more so, just sitting up here and having a conversation with you guys on the Man Cave.
Let's do it, man. I appreciate you coming out, man, and hanging out with us. The pride of of the University of Texas, man. I like it. I'm happy you're here, man.
Come on, man. Come on. Right here, baby.
That's a nice picture back there. So who did you do that for you?
Well, you know what? It was a big foundation event, and I ended up winning it at an auction. But it has actually your old coach, Mac Brown. You have a number of really, really big-time people that have signed this portrait, this painting as well. So it sits right in my office, and it's just a reminder of, listen, we live in the best city in the country and the best stadium in the world. So, and then our Horns are winning, so all is good.
All is good. That's good stuff.
All is good, man. And so for those of you who may be new to Stories Inside the Man Cave, or maybe we thank you for, maybe if this is your first episode, Norman Watkins and I date back to junior high, and he left Austin to go back over to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex in Irving, Texas, and was the number one linebacker recruit in 1991, the class of 91, signed with Texas. Stevie Lee, pride of Shreveport. Shreveport Evangel, by the way, was a national powerhouse. I just think it's such a beautiful thing when we can sit around and we get the perspective, because Stevie Lee has that perspective of playing for Mac Brown and playing defensive line. And Norman, recruited by the wonderful human, David McWilliams. And then John Makovic, who switched him to be a defensive end. Somehow he made that work. But now, guys, we've been living through years and years of mediocrity. That 38-6 W in Waco, we call this the step one of the Big 12 farewell tour for UT as they head to the SEC with OU. Norm, since you're the VIP, just kind of quickly just encapsulate what you saw. And I know Baylor is struggling, but it's on the road. And to me, Waco's not an easy place to play.
Yeah. So Stevie would appreciate this. It all starts in the trenches.
Yep.
So our big boys, offensive, defensive line dominated. You saw our defensive line just basically take full control of the game. And then as the game went on, our offensive line started moving some people, and we had a 100-yard rusher and probably could have had even more yards running the ball. And really, we have skill positions all over the field. I mean, Deion Sanders is a matchup nightmare for everyone. I mean, the kid is just unbelievable. I remember watching him in high school and he could have probably been even a better defensive end, but I'm glad we have him on the offensive side of the ball. So back to your question, Sean, it was just sweet to see us in this position playing Waco for the last time, which obviously Waco is near and dear to us because I remember playing them every year. And at that time, when I played back in the early 90s, mid 90s, they were actually pretty good. They were putting out a bunch of defensive players each year into the pros.
Yeah, Waco, when I was playing back from 2000 to 04, 05, they weren't very good at all. So after we got done playing in my years, there was a stretch where Baylor got good again. So you never can take them for granted, man, because they can always jump up on you. I never played in that new stadium, and so they get to rocking in that new stadium over there too, man. So you never take a win for granted. You go in there and dominate, and you're right, Norm. When you control the line of scrimmage, you control the game. And so when the first couple snaps, and I saw Baylor trying to run those stretch plays, and they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything because we were just shooting gaps and getting their running backs right at the handoff. I was like, okay, we're good. We're good. They understand the assignment today.
They sure did. I think we saw so the tradition at Baylor is the freshman student body. They call themselves the Baylor Line. They wear those gold jerseys. Robert RG3 let him out. He sprinted like an Olympic sprinter. And I want to leave the microphones open for this. I thought this was funny because this is kind of, I think, representative of how the night was going to go for David Aranda and the Baylor Bears. I mean, look at that. He's caught in the middle there. I mean, the old Baylor students. I mean, his own student body just jammed him up, just like the Texas defensive line did to that offense.
Right. Well, my question is, why would he go out there when they know they're releasing the kids at that time, right?
Well, I think that's a Baylor thing. Not a lot of organization.
I get it.
Norm, you've seen a lot, and I'm not trying to, I'm just having fun with that student tradition, but it just didn't. You just kind of got the feel early on that it was going to be a long night, long night for Baylor. What was the point which you knew that was going to be the case?
I just think Sark said it best in his post-press conference. Good teams get better throughout the season. And you could see just the first, second, third game that we were just on the cusp of really starting to execute, right? And we still had a lot of miscues. And I know we're going to get to a lot of that stuff during the conversation. But I just felt like, man, you know what? We have the better team. And these guys are just going to start locking in, and we're gonna play much better at the quarterback position, and we're gonna start seeing both the offense and defense really start putting it together. And then we had some miscues, some mishaps on special teams, but those are going to be easily corrected because those have been good all year. So you could just feel like, okay, man, we're gonna go out here and really just show, like, hey, who we really are, and start playing to a standard, guys.
Yeah. Stevie, what's your take? Because I was nervous a little bit about just how they would respond. I really did.
Yeah, you like I said earlier, you don't take any W for granted, and so going in there, I was a little nervous because it's Baylor, right? And Baylor can always sneak up on you, and and just ruin your season, and it'll make their whole season, right? Yeah. But you're right. Talking about special teams a little bit, I think 3 points came off of a muff punt that we had.
Yeah.
Arguably
two.
So I know we did have 2 muff punts.
Yeah.
And we lost those punt returns, but they got 3 points off of the other one, off the second one. So so we got to really, really clean that up because, those are really sure-handed guys too. So they got to clean that up and make sure that they secure that ball, and it will be cleaned up because our special teams has always been really good.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm still happy with the win. I want a little bit of adversity because it gives you some film to watch and some things to correct, and you're not getting pat on the back real hard all week. So go in the film room and check it out. Actually get in there and see what went wrong, see what you can do better, and then come out the next week and fix those mistakes, and then keep building on that.
And one thing I think
go Sean, ahead, real quick, guys, to kind of piggyback on what Stevie was saying. If you look at the rotations that we've had on both defense, specifically on defense, and at first I'm like, well, we're playing too many guys. What is this all about? But, as this season goes on, we are going to be prepped and loaded to really, 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 really be fresh at the end of the season and really, really be strong and really find out who our real players are and really be able to scheme towards those offenses, because we're going to be playing some pretty good teams coming up. Right. Yeah. Some teams that really have some firepower that we're going to really, really be in shape and in position. If you look at all our games in the fourth quarter, we're stronger than everyone. Yeah. And so I went from kind of questioning at first, why are we playing all these kids, these young men, to now I'm like, okay, I understand now. And more importantly, we got a lot of talent, guys. I mean, we got some guys now that really kind of need to see the field. And from a recruiting standpoint, it's kind of genius what we're doing right now. Because you can come in here, if you can play, you can come in and play at a very, very early time in your career, and really, it's all about, hey, we're going to put the best people on the field.
Yeah,
that's 100% the truth. And now, since both of you guys are defensive guys, I'm going to go ahead and make this proclamation right now, and I hope I don't jinx anything. Guys, I really feel like, and I'm going to put this out there, and they say, manifest what you want, manifest what it is you see, manifest what it is that's happening. I think this is the number one defensive unit in the country right now. I mean, Stevie, this is 2 shows in a row in which we posted a graphic like this. They limited Baylor to 60 yards rushing. This is modern era. I know we're dinking and dunking and passing the ball all over the field from here to Round Rock to Waco to Nacogdoches throwing the ball. But a lot of people are more balanced. You get 100 yards rushing. Texas they are limiting these teams. Yeah. Other than Alabama. And Alabama was held below their average rushing.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. 5 sacks. I don't care how bad Baylor was, but to actually do this, Stevie, I mean, this is – am I too far-fetched by saying this is the number one defense in the country?
No, you're not too far-fetched, but let's get a little bit deeper in the season, man.
Yeah. Let's go right now. Right now.
Season.
From what
but right now, yes.
4-game sample set.
Yes, you can say that now for sure. 60 yards rushing is good. Like, it's hard to do that against air. You know what I'm saying? So let's hang our hat on that for now, but we still got to do it next week against Kansas, and we really got to do it the week after that against OU, because they did not forget what we did to them last year.
49-0.
Right.
49-0. They did not forget that. I'm sure that the coaches put that in their lockers every day.
Yeah, that's bulletin board material.
Yeah, it's bulletin board material.
Yeah.
And it's a rivalry game, and anything can happen in that game, right?
That's exactly right.
Remember I told you, though, Sean, the most important game is what?
The next game.
The next game.
That's right.
The most important game is the next game. So let's get past KU, and then let's talk about OU. But this defense got to stay stout, and they got to stay on top of it. Now, the other thing is, to your argument, Sean, they did leave him holding to 60 yards with basically a base defense.
That's a really good point. That fans,
it was basically a base defense. No, there was nothing thrown out there. I didn't see any safety blitzes coming down and things like that. We held them to that with just a basic defense.
Right.
So you're on the right track. Let's get a couple of samples in there, though.
Now, Norman, this is a topic you love to discuss. Well, a lot of people don't know Norman was a nasty athletic defensive end and linebacker. Don't let that smile fool you.
Okay.
But
nasty Norm.
Nasty Norm. That could go all different directions, this discussion. But my whole point, Norm, you're seeing guys who want to play for each other.
Right.
And I saw something that stood out to me, and I hope you guys saw it. We know Jalen Catalon, the transfer from Arkansas, is extremely physical.
Right.
That guy provided a textbook example of what it takes to go downhill from the safety position and just blow up a running back.
Right.
Did you see that?
I did see that, and I loved every second of it. You know, you got to have some guys like that on your team, right? We like to call them however you want to, whatever you want to call them, dogs, but you got a guy right there that will literally just come in and no regards to his own body. And that's why he's probably been hurt his whole career, to go in there and make that tackle and the way he did it. You know, that rallies the defense, right? Everybody can rally around that. Right. And then we got some young kids that I really, really like to see. And that kid, Jalen Ford, I'm a linebacker by heart, right? Even though they moved me to defensive end, I've always been a Willie linebacker, weak side linebacker. And I love to see the IQ and the instincts of Jalen Ford. He is really running that defense as a captain and really, really showing those younger kids like the Anthony Hills of the world how to play that position.
Good.
Yeah, and on by the same token, I mean that's a great point that Norm made. He's you've got guys like Ford who are kind of being a mentor. Like
right.
People look to him for direction, and they don't want to let him down, and so they're having to learn throughout the week. And and I'm sure the other side of the ball is inspired for them, because this is where we've got a ton of guys, including Quinn Ewers, who looked like Vince Young on Saturday night, running for 29 yards, but 175.
I wouldn't say that, Sean.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that either.
Easy. Well, I didn't say he looked, but I did say that. But
yeah, he did.
The rushing yards, he was he put up rushing yards like Vince on a take it. I mean, that was I never thought that, and I hate putting this out there. I still want to see more for Quinn to prove himself. I don't know why I think that way.
Well, I think Sean, everybody's thinking that way. We know he has the potential to really be a top quarterback. But if you look at the fundamentals, just his feet, right? We still want to see some things in improvement and the accuracy. He's getting better, right? I just think over time and what we're going to see with him, I think at more football he plays, the better he's going to be. Yeah. And I like the game plans that they've started to kind of put him in to really kind of get him into a rhythm and then let him get comfortable. But I think you guys got to think, right? Last year was his first year playing football in about 2 years. He didn't play his senior year in high school, and he didn't play at Ohio State.
So the Longhorns rushed for a total of 175 yards. Jonathan Brooks, the pride of Hallettsville, another 100-plus yard game, rushing and 2 touchdowns. So I did want to point out one thing about Ewers that, Norman, I got to let you into this. And Alex Okafor laughed so hard. But, Stevie, we're all entitled to our opinion. So after seeing this video, Stevie, I want to see what your opinion is now.
Haven't needed that because of the great rushing attempt, and he lobs it downfield. What a beautiful pass. Johnny Cook with the catch and run down to the 33-yard line. What a gorgeous throw.
Okay.
Dante.
You ready?
But, I want to – so, Norman, Stevie hasn't been sold on the deep ball yet, and that was even after Alabama. And so I got to hear our buddy Stevie. We love you, man, but you still feel the same way about Ewers' deep balls?
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. He sits back there and set his feet. I wish I had a telestrap, one of those things they got on ESPN, or I could actually show you. The perfect ball would have had him in stride, and he would have gone
a touchdown.
It would have been a touchdown. Okay. He had to slow down to come back to the ball and that gave the defense that allowed the defense to catch him. You got to hit that man in the stride, and I haven't seen one of those yet from Ewers. Right?
No.
So I'm standing by what I said from the beginning, man. He got to get better on the deep ball.
Well, he was 18 of 23, I think 293 or 298 and a touchdown, Norman. Do you see improvement yourself on that, on the trajectory of the deep balls? I mean, he had his most efficient game in a while, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he was definitely more efficient, but I have to agree with Stevie. He has to get better with the deep ball. And I think he can, yes, but that goes back to fundamentals.
Yeah. And,
he needs, if you watch him, just watch his feet and just, he just kind of flicks that thing, right? And it's not real accurate when it comes down to the deep ball. We've been having some guys wide open, and we've missed a ton of points that we could have put on the board. But I will say this, have I seen improvement? Yes. He's not turning the ball over, which is key to playing quarterback, right? He's not doing what Dak has done historically last year. But at the same time, if he can clean that up, man, our team would be scoring 40, 50 points a game. Yep. They'll be taking him out of the game in the third quarter.
Yeah, man. Our receivers, Worthy, and then Sanders coming underneath, man. Just those two, you can blow the top off the defense, man, easily. And so if we got receivers that can blow the top off the defense, we need a quarterback and that can hit them out there too.
Yeah.
Well, Jatavian Sanders. I mean, people really need to embrace this guy. That's a special tight end. 5 receptions, 110 yards receiving last night.
Yeah.
That's at the Big 12 level. This guy is going to make a lot of money.
Well, I tell you what, he will be missed. I enjoy him while we have him. Yeah. He's a special talent. He's a mismatch nightmare for any linebacker trying to cover this guy. Yeah. And he's a pretty darn good blocker too. And he's a good leader from what I'm seeing. People rally around him. So I just try to watch him because I can tell you that kid can have 100+ yards every game if you really just zero in on him and catch him, because he's always open. It's just like Xavier Worthy. If you always look, I mean, these guys are always open. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of getting the ball to them. They're always open.
The plays are designed really well, and we have a hailstorm brewing in part of the north of Austin area as we're recording this episode, and that is, I guarantee you, our guys at Hargrove Roofing are taking full advantage of that to help you find homeowners get a new roof as soon as possible, because they do a great job. And Stevie, what is it that they say that really, really, really drives home who they are?
Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof.
That's the truth. You definitely want to know who's on there. And, they know what they're doing. And, guys, Norman brought up a good point before this. Momentum is everything in the game, but it's also momentum in recruiting and seeing what's cool. Could you guys just imagine if you guys are in this class of 2024 high school kids? They just got the number 1 old lineman to commit. What do you guys know about him? And I would love to hear both of you, beginning with Stevie. If you were part of this 2024 class in high school, what are you looking at? And what do you think this old line saw in Texas? Old lineman saw in Texas.
Honestly, the recruiting world is so much different from what normally I went through. Man, to be the number 1 lineman, I'm going to look at, what's the future? They got Arch Manning. They got a Manning. That's football royalty. That's big time. So he has a Manning that he's going to be protecting. The school is going to the powerhouse conference. So everything is on the upside. He has a offensive genius mind on the as a coordinator here. And so that's what I'm looking at first. Second, what I'm looking at that I never had to look at was the money. NIL deals, man. Pockets are deep. Everything's bigger in Texas, right? Including pockets, right? So that's one thing that these kids are looking at that we never had to look at. And you may like it, you may hate it. Whatever it is you do is here, and it's going to be here for a little bit, So until they change rules and try to hone this thing in, this is the Wild Wild West, and this is going to be about the money. I guarantee you, if USC would have offered him, a bag bigger than ours, he would have been at USC. You know what I mean? Right? So these kids are not just choosing the school best for their future to get to the NFL. They're also the NFL is slim to none for a lot of people. But the money that you can get coming out of high school with these NIL deals is right here, right now. So it's here, and we got to. We either gonna roll or get rolled over.
That's well put.
Yeah, so they're not just thinking about football; they're thinking about the money as well. And so he's made a great choice because there's a future here and there's money here. So I think he got the best of both worlds choosing to come here, and I'm here for it, man. We got big offensive linemen that are actually playing and doing really good things under our offensive coordinator and the offensive the O-line coach. What's his name? Slipping my mind. O-line coach.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I completely forgot.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he's doing great things. He's doing great things with these guys. So that's huge that that this kid is seeing that the offense is rolling. We got future guys on the bench, not on the bench, but the backups that are actually going to be really, really good we can be good for a long time.
Kyle Flood.
I was going to say snow. I knew it was something with the weather.
Some atmospheric phenom. Norm, can you even remotely place yourself in the position that this young man is in, and how different it would be in recruiting right now for you?
Man, I just like to think that we all paved the way for these kids to do what they're doing now. You got to look at it like this: these kids are making the kind of money to where they can set their families up in homes and set their families up to where, even if they don't make it, what Stevie was saying, even if they don't make it to the next level, they are secure to where a lot of these kids come from single family homes, they can take care of their mom and put them in the house. That was my big thing. The one thing that I wanted to do for my mother, when I came to college, was to take care of her and put her in a home one day. A lot of kids that came from inner cities like myself and a lot of other kids, that's a dream. And so if you get a number one kid, like a recruit like this kid, the kind of money they're paying these kids now, listen, I'm so happy for them and I'm proud of what they're doing. And they actually show, right? You're getting paid on the likenesses of these kids. So why not share the profits with these young men and young women that come to school? But why not? But yeah, so I think that's a huge part of it, what Stevie just mentioned. And then, listen, the University of Texas, I'm not up there at school very often anymore. I'll go up there. I'm starting to get up there a little bit more when they ask me to come up there. But I tell you, I went to the spring game. I went to an event that Coach Sark and the coaches came out to. And I just tried to put myself back as a kid that age and coming into a place like the University of Texas and the way they set up everything. It's not a doubt in my mind that I would even now, I would have been ready. Hey, I'm coming to the University of Texas.
Yeah.
It's not a doubt. The way they do things now and the way CDC and the way we're aligned at the president level with Jay Hartzell as our president is unbelievable. It's unbelievable to the point to
Everything's
where
alignment nowadays.
everything is so aligned to where you're like, if you're a kid from, especially if you're a kid from the state of Texas, it's like, it's a no-brainer to come play for an innovative coach, the best facilities around, and to be able to go and play for the flagship school of the state of Texas.
That's well stated, both of you. When you put all that information that you guys from your experiences, that really does paint the picture of what it looks like now, because that is night and day difference from when you guys were recruited, as Stevie alluded to. And this guy that we're talking about, the nation's number one O-line, he's from California, guys. Sark still has pulled over there in California from Santa Ana, California, Mater Dei High School.
Yeah.
And amazing. And if I remember right, that's a high school powerhouse, I believe.
And I'll be remiss to say this too. I've had an opportunity to meet some of the coaches, and I got to tell you, Sark has assembled a really, really good staff.
Yes.
I mean, and they really can relate to these kids. I mean, Sark is 49 years old, so he can relate to these young kids, these young men. So he's a likable, authentic guy that's been through the fire, that's been through some things. And I've had an opportunity to meet him a few times and talk to him. And I'm like, man, I just like the guy. He's sincere, he's authentic, and he's a smart guy. And he wants to be at the University of Texas.
Yeah. He's paving his own way at the University of Texas, making his stamp onto the program. He keeps winning, doing what he's doing, and these kids are still gravitating towards him. We'll be talking about him like the other big coaches that have come through the University of Texas.
He's changing the same way, and we're talking about Kansas. Guys, they're undefeated. They're number 23 in the country. And you talk about a guy who's leaving his mark on that program. First of all, that head coach. But this quarterback they have, it's his second year. Jalen Daniels. All right, they're known for him. Now, I know everyone's going to criticize Kansas for not playing great defense, but I want you guys to be a judge of how good this defense is, in particular right here against BYU on Saturday.
A little more than that, Q. On the Texas. Oh, he brought some smoke, and he's on fire.
Whoo!
How you bring run support, much like Catalan did. Kansas, every one of these games moving forward, it's going to be fun, but it provides a challenge to see what UT is made of. Are they truly the favorites? We'll begin with you, Stevie. KU has come a long way in a short period of time, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like I said, the most important game is the next game, right? They have come a long ways. They can upset anybody. So you got to come out here fundamentally sound and ready to play. We playing them at home, so you're in your home stadium where it's comfortable, but go out there and still play because they can sneak up on anybody. Yeah, and they're a decent football team. They're ranked 23 in the country now, you said?
Yeah.
So they're decent and they're undefeated. And so we got to figure that out. Like that's
right.
We may have better players on the field right now, but they can always find that one that sliver of hope, and sneak up on us. So my goal this year is to go into every single game like you went into that Alabama game.
100%. Yeah. Norm, did you have a chance of seeing it Kansas against BYU?
Not much, but I can tell you this: coaching matters, right? Yeah. Coaching matters. I mean, they have a heck of a coach. They're well coached, and guess what? Those kids are on scholarship too.
Yep.
And they got a chip on their shoulder, right?
Yep.
So, kind of back what Stevie was saying. Listen, the only game that's most important is this game this weekend.
Yeah.
And we really hadn't, if you think about it, we really hadn't played well at home this year.
No, we hadn't.
Now it's a time to go out.
Really good point.
Now it's a time. Listen, it's a time, right? It's a 2:30 game. We've done all these cool things with the drones and all the stuff that we're doing. The fans are there. Let's give them a show.
Yeah.
Let's give them a show. maybe this is the weekend that Quinn really puts it together, and we can take him out of the game in the third quarter, and then see some of our younger quarterbacks play and see what some of the youth play, and we're up by a certain amount. But at the end of the day, the longer you let a team stay in the game, and we see this throughout NFL, college, if you let a team stay in the game, then they think they can actually play with you, and then they might actually come out and beat you. So you can't mess around with these guys, especially with the electric quarterback that they have there, because they will beat you if you let them sit around and get a little confidence. And we've seen this before with our teams in the past.
Yep.
I mean, and the crazy thing is, guys, this is amusing to me, and I'm happy for all those people up there in the heart of the country. KU is filling that stadium.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a year or two. It was 2 years ago. Man, they would have to pay you to go to a game.
Yeah.
up in Lawrence, Kansas. Yeah. They are selling out. Selling out.
Kansas They're selling out because it's still warm, though. Let a cold front come through there.
Yeah, well, that's true.
In December, we'll see how much they sell out then.
Stevie, they're tougher than me because you know how I am when it gets below 70. I am not pleasant to be around. Guys, the ride is over, but I still think that Coach Prime has got a good thing going. But you know what? I really enjoyed this. Coach Lanning at Oregon before they faced Coach Prime and CU.
Rooted in substance, not flash. Rooted in substance. Today, we talk with our pads. You talk with your helmet, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins.
Norm or Stevie, we'll go around the bottom of the top. I mean, I don't agree with cameras being in intimate moments in the locker room. I want to put that out there real quick because it gets all twisted in this modern society. It really does. So having said that, he's doing his job as a coach to get his team going. Yeah. I don't think – listen, what Deion's doing in Colorado, I think we all can agree. It's working. Yeah. But Oregon's a much better team, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. And if you thought that that Colorado was going to go undefeated this season, I got some swampland in Louisiana I can sell you. We weren't going to go undefeated. We knew that. They're having a great season. And, yeah, my man, he has to get his team fired up. He has to. If that's the best way he knew how to get his team fired up, he make a couple $1 million a year to say it, you know? So he has to say it. So I don't know if I like putting well, he has to say it. No. If it was in the media, it's different. He was dumping on KU to get his team hype. That's a media article, then it's kind of messed up. But it's a pregame speech to where he got to get his team up, and it was perfect for that moment for what he said. You're right. Cameras in an intimate setting can get misconstrued, right? This is intimate, and this is supposed to be between he and his players. And so that's your laundry that you're supposed to be airing out with just you and your players to get them mentally ready for this game to go whoop somebody's ass, right? Yeah. Now, if he just said something like that earlier in the week, then it will come off as being, damn, man, we didn't even say anything about you. Now you're talking about us again. Like
making it personal.
Yeah, you're making it personal, right? So he has to say stuff like that in front of his team. And it's upset. It's bad that the regular Joe Schmo that like me and Norm that has been in a locker room and has had our coach in front of us, getting us fired up, ready to go play a game. We understand what he's saying. The other people on the outside looking in don't know what he's trying to say right there. They think that he's taking shots at Deion and CU, right? And Deion's boys and all his kids. The regular Joe Schmo, casual football fan don't know what he's actually doing and saying. I got into it with my wife about it. Like, well, she's like, well, why he's saying that? That's messed up. And I was like, he has to say that to get his team fired up. Yeah. He didn't have to say that. And I was like, no, he has to do anything to get his team fired up to go play that game. And that's what he did. Coach Brown did it with us. I'm sure McWilliams and Makovic did it with you, Norm. So it's whatever you have to say to get your team fired up. But it could be bulletin board.
Norm, I wanted to play this specifically for you. This is man, I really enjoy and appreciate what Deion Sanders is doing, but this is his soundbite in response to what it's like every week something's personal, but it's funny. And Norm,
well, I didn't hear his response. He had a response?
Pure class.
Okay.
Honestly and candidly, you better get me right now. This is the worst we're gonna be. You better get me right now.
So let me can I share my thoughts?
Let's go.
Yes, please.
So listen, I loved every minute of it. Listen, we're men in a profession where basically we're gladiators in this sport of football. If you've played this sport, it's the best sport in the world, in my opinion. And you got to think about it. Deion and I love what Deion's doing. I'm a big fan of Deion, but at the end of the day, if I'm a coach and he's getting all that attention, taking a team that basically a whole brand new squad that he brings on within months, and a team like Oregon that's been around, that's been a top tier team here in the last 5 to 10 years, and they're acting like these guys, it was just. It became personal, and it's going to be personal with some of these other coaches. And basically what he said is what a lot of these coaches are thinking right now. And so this is going to keep on going on. People are seeing it firsthand. You wait till he play USC next week, or when they play USC, it's going to be some other, hey, this was the litmus test, guys, this past weekend. And we already knew, like Stevie said earlier, we knew that Deion and Colorado was not going to go undefeated.
Yeah.
It's been a great story, but they have been getting a lot of attention, guys, to the point to where it's been almost disrespectful for a lot of these other teams that have been out here playing and really making a name for themselves and building a team not through the portal, because all of this stuff is brand new now, right? So you're looking at these coaches now watching this, and with Deion's personality, they're like, hey, listen, it's time to play.
Yeah.
And I think the coach there at Oregon knew he could back it up because he had the players, right?
Yeah, 100% he did.
And so he went out there like, hey, we're going to come out here. We're going to show you. We're going to kick this ass.
Yeah.
And I'm done talking. I'm all this social media and clickbait and all this stuff. Hey, now we're about to see. Now we're about to see who is the real deal. And you know what? Everything he said, they showed it on the field.
They did. They showed it on the field. I just think that we got to be careful nowadays with cameras in front of when I'm talking intimately with my team. We got to be careful with that. That's all.
You cannot have every minute documented.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, guys, and you know this, unfortunately, this is the world we live in.
Yep.
You think about it, we're in this digital society, digital transformation society. And I don't even have kids, but I have a lot of kids that I love, Stevie's kids and kids that we all do. And I tell these kids all the time, it's eyes looking at you. Think that somebody's not watching you at all times.
Big brother.
Yeah.
And even us, right? I mean, you have to be aware of everything you do, what you say, how you act, because somebody is watching or somebody's recording you.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you send a certain type of pic to somebody.
I mean, everything.
Absolutely, Sean.
I mean, everything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
But you talk about good TV, though, guys. Just think about, I mean, I was watching. I'm like, man, you know what? He said exactly what a lot of people want to say, and he said it, and then he went out there and did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He will have Colorado competing for the Pac-12. Now, Big 12 championship, I promise you. not next year, but in 2025, they will be competing for the Big 12 championship. Mark my word. And I'm going to tell you this, that just in my opinion, it's a humble opinion, and I'm wrong half the time, but I feel pretty confident about this. Listen, they don't have Travis Hunter, and listen, I know that hit was late, but that Colorado State safety was doing his job while he was hustling, and Deion acknowledged it. And so,
Sean and Steve, at the end of the day, it's football.
It is football.
These things happen, and it's truly a gladiator sport that's controlled in a certain sense. But at the end of the day, you can actually go out there and hit somebody and not go to jail for it.
Yeah, it's controlled violence.
Yeah.
It's so they don't have. You're right. Yeah, that made me feel much better because you stated that, and not having Travis Hunter for 2 more weeks is costly. Having him cost them dearly against Oregon. I'm not saying they would have won with him, but they're going to lose 2 or 3 more games. The Pac-12 is having the best season that they've had in a long time.
Yeah,
which leads me to this. We have rankings around here every week according to our opinion, not by polls, not by media and what they think, but what we think at the end of each week. And this is the top 10 and 4 on the outside as of today. If it would ever pop up, there we go. We're going to remove this. I've got Texas move up to number 3, guys. And I think the hottest team right now I wouldn't want to play. Washington.
Well, we found that out last year in the Alamo Dome, right?
Penix. Yeah. I don't think Florida State is deserving of number 2 right now. So I put them at 6. And
really?
Yeah, I think they're top 10. I think they're good. They're great. They're a playoff type of team. But keep a lookout on the guys at number 10, the Utah Utes, Pac-12. And then Duke. Game day, ESPN Game Day is going to be in Durham, North Carolina.
For the first time.
That's wild. And then Alabama, they got it right with Jalen Milroe. They fixed it. We'll see. What you guys take on this?
They should have paid me a bunch of money to be a consultant because the kid never should have been benched. You could tell the potential. I was at the game in Alabama, and you could tell that kid has all the talent in the world. They just need to work with him. And that was just a knee-jerk reaction. But that kid, trust me, by the end of the season, he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks. And don't be surprised if Alabama's in the hunt.
I'm not disagreeing with that take whatsoever.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that if he just builds on what he did this weekend and get better and better and better, because he got the fire on him now. He now knows that Nick Saban will bench him if he doesn't play well. So he's going to come out there and play very, very well at a high level and just keep doing it. I can see exactly what you're saying, Norm.
Yeah. No, that's a really great point. Hey, Norm, if you weren't aware, we have a lot of humor usually in the second segment. So before we take a quick break, you got to humor me with this pick. And Stevie, we're about to embarrass some people. This is a wedding photo that I found, not of mine. Very bizarre, but absolutely comical. I enjoyed this thoroughly. This is creative.
Is this an AI pick?
Yeah, no, I found it. You know, there's nothing exposed.
Hey, man.
Life is good, bro. Life is good.
He dropped.
Life is good. Yeah, life is good.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Woo! This is too much fun. Gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. We got to give a shout out to Hargrove Roofing. They've entered the NIL world, and this is their guy. I'll see you guys on the other side of the break. If you follow Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast or watch all of our episodes, you would know that our friends at Hargrove Roofing are proud supporters of Stories Inside the Man Cave. Well, they're also proud supporters of University of Texas Longhorn Athletics. So much so that they are now NIL partners. Bert Auburn has a strong leg. He has a great head of hair, and he will now partner with Coach at the Hargrove Roofing office off of Ashdale. You will soon hear Auburn say that famous slogan, Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof. In the meantime, if you need an estimate, call 512-645-3202 or visit the website, hargroveroofing.com. Guys, the Cowboys lost to the Cardinals today.
Yeah.
That was not pleasant, but you know what? You're not going to go undefeated, or I don't think you will, in this modern era. Norm, we'll wrap it around. We'll go with you to Stevie. I'm a little speechless. I know the Cowboys had 4 key guys hurt, Zach Martin being one of them. I'm not real happy.
Well, hold on, wait. That's the second time you said that. I'll go first. All
Right.
first.
Go ahead.
That's the second time you said the Cowboys had 4 guys out and hurt.
Yeah.
Well, the Cardinals had their main quarterback out and hurt. Right? Yeah. Murray didn't play. Yeah, he's out. He's not back until later this year.
Without Kyler Murray is what I meant to say.
Yeah. So there's no excuses there. They didn't come ready to play. Their coach did not go in the locker room and get them fired up to play because they definitely have the better team.
Oh,
yes. They have better talent on their defense. How are you going to shut out somebody? Was it 2 weeks ago or last week?
Last week, I believe.
Last week they shut out someone.
Hell out of them.
Yeah, and then they come in and let a backup quarterback beat them.
Terrible.
So it's on them. This is not ready to play type of loss because they got the talent.
It was not pleasant to watch. All I got to say is thank God I was at a place where I really didn't want to be myself and make a total ass out of myself.
But you have before.
I have, and it'll happen again. Both of you guys, I got to show you this. I don't know if you saw this. You'll be proud. It's one of your fellow Letterman alumni. I never thought I would see this guy run back a kickoff return.
Andrew Beck, after Boone couldn't handle it, it's still going. Beck, he's going to go all the way in. Did we just see what we just saw?
Hey, man.
Andrew Beck.
When you're a Longhorn, you can do anything on the field.
Oh, my God.
There we go.
There you go, man.
Now,
that's fun to watch. See a big man like that just rumble down the field for a touchdown, dude, and no one can catch him.
You know what I enjoyed watching? Honestly, a lot of people never talk about him. I thought he was one of those blue collar guys that I can't remember if Mac initiated the recruitment of him or Charlie. He was from Florida, Plant, Florida, and was a significant piece of the team that won the Sugar Bowl against Georgia. He was a great, just reminded me of Jason Witten, meaning he did all the things right.
Yeah.
And was physical. But why are they – I would have never thought he'd be on the kickoff return team that deep.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Yep, absolutely.
Guys, are y'all both on TikTok?
I have an account, but I have no idea how to use it.
Yeah,
well,
I scroll through it.
Yeah, I don't even know how to use it, but I have an account, and I think I may have I may follow maybe one person. I think I don't know. I've spent maybe 5 minutes on it.
Well, you can learn a lot of things, Norm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not everything is what you think it is, and you don't have to pick it up every time.
Yeah,
like this.
Dad, what is that? I don't know. It's just a blue jelly bean. freaking blue jellyfish. What is that? I don't know. I'm gonna be mad for the rest of the day. Jellyfish.
Now, son, you got 2 out of 3 right. It is blue and it is hard. But there ain't no jellyfish.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
So you know what the bad thing is that kid is never going to live that down.
Ever.
No, he's never going to live it down. He going to grow up. He going to go to high school. He going to go and try out for the football team. He'll probably make it. And they're going to call him cock hands from now on.
Oh, man. Oh, man. That's hilarious.
See, Norm, the valuable lessons you learn on TikTok.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man, that is too funny.
Now, I have a question. You know, you don't have to be a parent to be a positive influence on a child. Number one,
Right.
why would you let your kid pick that up and keep holding it? That
And
thing's got
then
DNA and bacteria all over it.
yeah, man. And then filmed it, you know?
Filmed it.
Yeah, filmed it. They put it on film and then put it out there.
Thus, this is the world we live in.
It is. Yeah.
Big blue jellyfish.
Yeah.
That ain't no
Hard
jellyfish.
jellyfish. Yeah.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
We love to talk about positive things, inspiring people and being inspired by others. And Stevie, I think we can all say it. At some point, we've had deep conversations with the Norman Watkins, and we've either been entertained or inspired. Norm, you know how the world works. There's a lot of negativity, but what do you see in your world that you'd like to pass along to the masses that may be something inspiring or positive that could get people through their week this week?
You know, this is the most recent thing that I actually did a presentation on Friday, and really the theme of my presentation was be bold. It's only one Stevie Lee, it's only one Sean Clynch, and it's only one Norman Watkins. So live your life, be bold, and go out and make it happen for yourself and your family and your friends, and be a force multiplier in the world.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
That's beautiful. I like that.
That's
I really
good.
do.
We just ended on that one, man. I ain't got nothing good. That was it right there.
I got
Be bold.
Man, my man.
Go out into the world and be bold. Put your chest out, man.
Come on, man. Come
Let's
on,
do
man.
it.
Walk
That's the
with
way it
confidence.
should be.
What is it? And carry a big stick. You know what I mean? Be bold.
Right. That's right.
I like it, man. I like it. That's my motivation for the week, man. I love it, Norm. I
I
appreciate
do. I
it.
love that so much. Just don't pick up anything blue and hard off the beach.
I had a comment on that, but I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna leave that one
That's good
alone.
stuff, man.
Hey, I love you, boys. Y'all, Norm, we appreciate you as always.
Man, thank you guys, man. Anytime, fellas. Keep on doing the work, man. Keep on doing all the good work you guys are doing.
It's so much fun. And for Hargrove Roofing and the pride of Shreveport, Louisiana, that being the Stevie Lee, and the Hall of Famer from Irving, Texas, and the former Longhorn himself, that being the Norman Watkins, and the OG Man Cave boys, that being Hardball Hards, Big Mike, and Coach Mo. What did we tell him, Stevie?
We out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.